Hi, it's Thad with Willow Way Nurseries here. We're in the final week of July and wanted to talk about some plants that really kind of give you that fall color in the landscape and in your yards. This is Hydrangea paniculata limelight. This is our tree form. We grow these from a cutting all the way up into this tree form, so we train them. There's a stumping process, and we talked about that in some of my other videos, so I won't go into that today. But I wanted to talk about the shearing that we do on them. So obviously these are just coming into bud here, you can see. So they're not in open bloom yet, but this is really where we want to get them. It's just starting to show some color to them, and then we want to get them out to the consumers. So they have the most shelf life. One of the things that we're doing here at Willow Way is I'm really picky about the shearing on them. We really want to make a globe head on them. We really try not to flat top these, so you can see we're making that nice round head. Keeps it nice and full all the way down underneath. We get lots of breaks. Also, what that does is Hydrangea paniculata tend to like to stretch, especially in a nursery where we have water, fertilizer, and we're doing a lot of things. It's important that we kind of shear these back, and we have a split trim that goes on all our hydrangeas. So one interesting fact too, if it's a pink one, you'll see that the stem has kind of a reddish blush to it, and that'll tell you it's like vanilla strawberry, Love-A-Lots, or some of those all have that reddish stem inside. I want to talk a little bit about a plant from Proven Winners here. This is Syringa, dark purple. One of the nice things about it is that it blooms in the spring real heavily, but it's a repeat bloomer, so you get these nice buds this time of year. We do shear them a little bit. They do like to kind of stretch out a little bit, which we just like a tighter head in them. But you can see really nice grafted. It's a high graft onto a Syringa stalk. So you've got a nice complete head, real shearable, so you can keep this to the size you want as well. And with it being reblooming, you can shear it after spring, and you don't have to worry about losing those buds. So that's kind of nice. It's not going to be as heavy, but there are loaded. There's tips here all over there starting to come up and flower, so you won't get that same spring display, but you get about 30 to 50% per se. Some of the other nice things going on with this is that it's a real easy grower, so it's adaptable. The rootstock is Jossicate we use for the most part on these. But so what that is that's real adaptable to different types of soils. It can take some little wetter conditions, some of the drier conditions, and still do really well. The plant performs well with that. So that's one of the enhancements by grafting it up high like this. For growing degree days, we're just under 2,100 growing degree days. Really kind of coming to the end of the pests for the year. There's some webworms, some things like that to come on here, play in the fall. We will still have the aphids and spider mites and all that through the end of the season. But one thing I wanted to make note is about 1930 on to about 1960, there's a number of scales that have either have second generation or dull emergement. On the later end of that, which is just hatched just recently, would be Magnolia scale, hatched about 1950. So that's a one you want to look at the magnolias. If you see a like blackening on the stems, a lot of it's from sooty mold, which is what they extrude the honeydew, and sometimes ants are associated, but that honeydew molds and it gets that black mold on there. So if you look at that silvery bark of a magnolia and you see black on there, that's a really good way to scout for this insect, and you want to get in and do treatment right away with that. This was a hard one to control if you don't have the timing right. You want them to scale. We had second generation hatch. That was a little bit earlier, but that's something you want to be out scouting for too. And then what's coming up is clearwing ash borer. So that's something that's coming up here at about 2,200, just under. So that's something that you want to be out looking for and treating here. The trunks of your ash trees and some of your syringa as well is susceptible if they're stressed. So it's real important to reduce stress. That helps you keep a lot of the borers under control. Hi, it's Thad with Willow Way Nurseries here. We wanted to feature a perennial that's coming on. This is Balmy Purple Monarda, or Bee Balm. So really pollinator friendly, attracts a lot of bees, honeybees, moths, hummingbirds. Great garden plant. You can smell that Monarda has a certain smell to it from the foliage that's kind of pleasing. and it's a nice plant. This one stays fairly compact. It gets a little bit taller, but real nice. This is a new canning we did specifically for the fall here, and I'll show you that they're good and rooted here right now. So real nice plants, real coming along great, and just starting to have lots of buds on them. These will really flower up here in the fall here, and you'll get this constant load of blooms that will be coming. So we have a number of Monarda that we carry. So take a look. There's Jacob's Klein, which is a native one as well. We usually have good supplies on that one as well if you're interested. That's a little different, a little more tall, gangly, nice bright red flower on that one. We got a house here, really nice, Zedgrib coreopsis. So it's threadleaf coreopsis. You can see they're just loaded with buds right now. Really nice stick stems, good root system on them. This is really great. That one of the things with coreopsis that you should be aware of is this threadleaf variety prefers to be in a little more drier conditions than the larger ones like Baby Sun, Superman, which is a native. Some of those wider leaf coreopsis take a little more wet conditions, where this thrives a little more in the drier conditions, along with Moonbeam would be the other one that's the threadleaf type that we grow. So we do segregate in growing aspect, but we have a really nice strong crop here of this Zedgrib. So going to last flowers all the way through into fall. It just keeps blooming. Just new buds just keep coming up above the old. You can see down in there's old ones, but we've got a lot of new ones, and then there's buds coming up through. So this will just keep flowering. This is a plant too that responds really well when we grow it. We can it, we let it kind of come up a little bit, and then we trim it down. We get more breaks, and sometimes we do a second trimming on it to get it flush. It does reflush off of trimmings really well. So if it gets kind of floppy or tired looking, you can trim it back, and it will come back in a few weeks, about 3 to 4 weeks. You'll be back in good flower with them. I wanted to talk about fall blooming Japanese anemones here. We're in the last week of July, and these are kind of going to come into their own here, and they're just starting. So I want to kind of give you guys a preview of what's happening here. These Japanese fall blooming anemones are really nice. This is Curtain Call Pink, which is a really nice kind of smaller one. And then we have Fall in Love Softly from Proven Winners, which is really nice. This one is just starting to get going. It's a nice pink as well. I probably should have grabbed one with an open flower now that I think about it. One thing I'm proud of with our Japanese fall blooming anemone program is, you can see behind me is there's a lot of consistency in the plant. Part of that I'll give to our plant health specialists. They come out with PGRs. We have a program now with PGRing these, which really just makes a nice compact dense plant that really shows the flowers well. So we have to start the PGRs really early in the process after canning, and then we kind of time them out so that we're usually getting about 2 applications in. So but it turns out to make a really nice compact plant. So if you want some fall color, this is a plant you may want to take a look at. We have a really nice crop coming.